Hello everyone, my name is Saksham Dikshit and this is my channel Pentest Diaries. So today we discuss about the final configuration of this red teaming lab setup. I'll try to cover each and everything from the start to the end, as I have already covered all the concepts and everything in this entire tutorial series. So this will be a complete different type of stuff which I'll try to cover up. What are the things I cover up? I try to get it configured. So this is almost a 90% or 95%, I can call it as a practical type of tutorial section. Okay, so let's begin. So just for this tutorial only, I have built this machine. This is a virtual machine working on VMware workstation. The storage is 500 GB and it contains 25 GB of RAM. Okay, and almost 4 core I have assigned it to this machine. So this is a powerful virtual machine, I can say that. Okay, on the top of it I have installed the Hyper-V. I'll try to guide you how to install the Hyper-V also, so that if anyone is not aware about that how to install it, so that person can get the information about it. So we simply have to go to the control panel, then to the program section, then we have to go to the turn Windows feature on or off, and over here we have to select the option Hyper-V. Okay, we can go inside of it, we have to select both the options, then we have to click on OK, and then once it's get applied, it will ask us to restart the system, and once we restart the system, so it will automatically work for you. Make sure before starting the Hyper-V, you simply have to shut down the system first on which you have configured the Hyper-V, and make sure you have to enable that feature of VTX. There is a feature of VTX is present on the virtual machine VMware box, so in that you have to get it enabled there, then try to start the machine and then start the Hyper-V, and then whatever the machines you have to build it, you can build it. Before that, make sure you have to go to this section and you have to configure one NIC card over here itself. Like as I have configured, it's an internet, so this will interact with our this will interact with the NIC card which I have it on my base system itself, so it's intact with it, so that whatever the machines I've created on this system, it just get it reflected directly to my it's directly going to the internet itself without any problem. Okay, so this we have to create it before going for any machines to create it on that Hyper-V, and then we have to start making the machines directly, virtual machines on it. We have to start with 1 2 3 DOM1 DOM2 DOM3, then SRV1 SRV2 SRV3, and then Kali, and then Windows 10. These are all the machines which we required in our architecture diagram itself. Okay, so we'll start with one by one. This is completely a fresh setup which I have configured it on my system, so I try to cover all those things which I've already covered, but the live demonstration is not present at that time, so now I'll try to cover those things also. So what is the first thing we have to do it on our fresh system? This is the Windows 2019. Okay, this is a fresh installation with up to date. I have pushed all the updates which is available in the market. Now we simply have to check the IP address first. Okay, then we have to go to this section. We have to go to the next section, then change adapter option. Then over here we have to go click on the properties. Over here we have to define the static IP address, so I do not want anything to be get it changed later on. Okay, so we have to go ahead further with that only. Now manually we have to put the IP address, that is 192.168.44, and the last slot is 173. 192.168.44, and that is 2. Okay, that's it for the DOM1. We have defined it, so nothing we are doing it. Whatever the IP address is assigned to our machine, we have to make it that is a static, so nothing will be a dynamic one. Then after that, the next thing we have to do it on this same machine. We have to go to the My Computer section. Okay, over here we have to click on the properties, go on the change, whatever the name is present over there, we have to change it that, so we will make it that as DOM1. Right now it's in work group itself, that's okay. We have not configured any domain controller so far, so that was a thing, it's just showing as a work group. Okay, so we simply have to click on OK. Okay, then close, and we have to restart this machine. This video may be a longer video, as I'll try to cover each and everything, whatever the thing we try to get it configure in this lab setup itself. So be with me for the entire lab setup. Now we simply have to put the password, the administrator password, which we have defined at the time of the installation itself. So now we simply have to go to this section and check that first whether our host name is defined. It's a dom1 now. Okay, so the first thing is completed for our first domain control, that is dom1. Okay, now what we wanted, in case of dom1, we have to give it a domain name. So we have to make it this as a domain controller. So we have to go to server manager, then we have to go to the add roles and feature, then we have to click on next, then we have to click on next. Here we can see that the IP address and the dom1. Next. Now here we have to select the domain. Okay, we simply have to select the Active Directory domain services. That's it. Click on next, then again click on next, then again next. It's confirmed and install. We have to wait for a couple of seconds to get it complete. This once it's get complete, we will configure our domain, make it a domain, and then we'll have to restart this machine so that this machine automatically be a part of that domain and it's acting as a domain controller. So the same thing we have to configure in case of DOM2, DOM3, even in case of SRV1, SRV2, like SRV, SRV2, SRV3, we have to get it embedded inside of the domain itself. So like once we configure with the domain controller, then inside of that domain we have to edit our servers and the systems which we are make it already. Okay, so we can see that the installation feature is already completed. Now we click on close. Now we have to click on this option over here. We have to go to this section directly. Okay, so we have three options: add a domain controller to an existing domain. No, we don't have that. Add a new domain to existing forest. No, we have to create a new forest first. Okay, so over here we simply have to define it lab.local. Okay, then we click on next. We have to define it a password for the domain controller. Okay. Then we have to click on next, next. Okay. The alias is lab. Then we have to go to the next. Nothing, we have to change it over here. Then click on next. Then again next. Now we have to wait for the pre-request to get it checked. If everything is approved, we will get the option of install. Once we click on install, everything gets installed. So we can check that all the pre-request checks pass successfully and we can click on install. Okay, let me click on install and then we have to wait for some time to get installed the domain and make it this server as a domain controller. now this is an indication that our domain is configured appropriately, and now we click on close. It will automatically get restart our domain controller, and once it's get it up once again, we are in the domain itself. So I'll show you that once the server is up once again. It may take a few extra time, may be a possibility, like it depends on the configuration, it depends on the hardware which we are using it right now. Like in few cases when I try to get it configured this, it's bit faster, but in few cases it take a time to get it applied. Okay, we'll wait for some time to get it complete. Okay, so in the meantime we'll utilize the same time for our another system. Okay, so we'll jump to the DOM 2. We'll try to do the same thing for our DOM 2 also. Okay, so we can see that the IP address is 174 over here. We simply have to go to the network adapter, Ethernet adapter section, properties. Okay, define it that IP address, straightforward. 192.168.44, and then this is 2. Okay, click on OK, OK, close. Then we have to go to my computer, and then we have to change the host name of it. Okay, you simply click on change, define it at DOM2, then click on OK, click on OK, close it, restart the machine. Okay, let me check that whether the DOM1 is appropriately up now or not. It's still in progress. Okay, let me do the same thing for DOM3 also. Okay, so we'll try to change that, make it a static IP address for the domain controller DOM3. Go to the Ethernet adapter, the IP address is 192.168.44.175, 192.168.44, then 2. Click on OK, OK, close. That's it, nothing else is required. You simply have to go to the My Computers. Over here we have to go to the properties, click on change settings, change, define it DOM3, click on OK, OK, click on close, restart now. That's it. Let me check the DOM1 is up or not now. It's still in progress. Okay, I think DOM2 is up, so we simply have to go inside of the DOM2. So in case of DOM2, two things we have already completed. One is a static IP address, another one is the host name. which is already defined. I'll show you that it's already a DOM2. Okay, now we simply have to go to this section, click on manage, add feature resource, click on this section, DOM2 and then IP address. Then we have to select the domain services, add feature, next, install. We have to go to DOM3 also, it's also up. Try to do the same thing for DOM3 also. I'm utilizing the time so that everything will be working simultaneously, and we will there is no need to extend the video too long, so it's better we will utilize the same time, the time like DOM1 is taking to get it configured. We'll try to configure the other stuff. So I'll show you that the DOM3 is reflecting over here as a host name. Okay, perfect. Now we'll simply have to go to this section, next, domain service, next, install. Okay, let me go to one more time to DOM2. Okay, I think it's not yet completed, it's still in progress. It's completed now. Okay, now we simply have to go to, in case of DOM2 we simply have to go to this section over here. Okay, now DOM2 I am considering as a subdomain. This is not at all be a domain. So what it mean by a domain and a subdomain? Subdomain is a part of a same forest. DOM1 is itself a domain and itself having a forest, but DOM2 is a part of a same forest in which DOM1 is there. So DOM2 is considered as a subdomain. Okay, so over here I can't select the option add as a new forest. I have to select an option add a new domain to an existing forest. Okay, so the domain is already created. And we simply have to click add a domain controller to an existing domain. Okay, so this option we can prefer with that, add a new domain to an existing forest, that also we can do it, but I'll have to go ahead further with this, add a new domain controller to an existing domain. So I'll go to this section. This is a child domain. Okay, so I simply have to give, let me check that whether that lab1 is up or not. Let me check that DOM1 is up. It should be up. Okay, that's great. So we simply have to log in, put the password, and we are in. Okay, so the DOM1 is itself a part of the domain controller and which is unlab.local. Okay, let me show you that. Click on my computers, click on properties, and then we can check that DOM1.lab.local. Okay, perfect. Now we simply have to go to DOM2 over here, the parent. So the parent one we have to define it first. Okay, that is lab.local. Okay, or I'll try to get it checked. If it's not accepting it, then we'll try to change the DNS entry. In that case it will forward the traffic to our domain. Okay, I'll try that first whether it will take it or not. If it's not, then in that case we'll try with some other way. Okay, it will not. Okay, no problem. We'll try to go to this section once again. We have to go to the Ethernet, click on adapter, this, and now we'll simply have to go to, instead of the gateway we'll try to forward a traffic to 173. Let me check whether this will work for us or not. It will work. Okay, it's working. Okay, let me try. Okay. Security dot local. Okay, it's reflecting over here itself, so everything is working fine. Okay, we'll click on next. We have to wait for a couple of seconds more, as it's making like this domain itself is become a subdomain in the same forest where we have the DOM1. Okay. Oh, we are getting some error. Could not log onto the domain with a specified credential. Supply a valid credential and try again. Okay, let me try once again. Lab.administrator. It should be working this time. If it's not working, then in that case we simply have to put it a DNS entry and try for that. By that way it should be working, but I'll try with this way. If it's not, then definitely have to go for the DNS entry, and by that way it will automatically pull. No, it's not taking it. Okay, no problem. We simply have to cancel this. Okay, we have to go to this section and we have to search for the DNS if it's there or not. I think it's not, so we have to install the feature of DNS first. Okay, DNS is, click on it, next, install. The same thing we have to get it installed on DOM1 also. Okay, so we have to go to this section. Next, then we have to select, oh, DNS is already installed, so in this case we do not require it. Okay, we simply have to pull that. So how to get it pull? We simply have to go to this section, then we have to go to the DNS. Okay, our DOM1 is over here itself. We have to click on forwarding and okay. So over here the IP address we have to give it 192.168.44.174. Let me check, it's not identifying it. security.lab.local. Okay, let me try it. Okay, it's identifying it's a DOM2. Try to change that. Oh, not getting the function now. Change that. Okay. Simply change. Okay, we have to go inside of it, and instead of this, we'll try to put it 192.168. unable to resolve. Let me try to change once again. There is one more way we can do it. I'll try to make it this way. Okay, let me try whether it will work or not. It should be working. You have to jump to the DOM2 once again. So we simply have to put the credential. Click on OK. I'm damn sure we'll get something over here. This is completed. We simply have to create a new forest, that is cyber.local. Okay, click on next. Put the password. Click on next. Click on next. Wait for alias to get it reflected. Click on next. Click on next. Next. Click on install. Okay, leave this and we jump to DOM2 once again. We check. Okay, we'll try to make it a DNS over here. Okay, let me jump to the DNS. (192, 168, 44, 173). Perfect. So it's showing 173 is in list. Okay, we simply have to click on apply. Okay, now we go back to okay, now it should be working. Lab is showing. Okay, now we simply have to put a domain. Okay, and click on next. Oh, sorry. We have to simply define a security only, not anything else. Sorry, I have configured that not local also. We simply have to mention it as a security only. Okay, now it's configured. We simply have to click on password section and put it our credentials. Whatever the credentials, we have to define it for the domain controller as the administrator. Click on next, next. Perfect. Next. Click on next, next. And wait for the prerequisite to get it completed. Okay, DOM 1 is DOM 3 is also completed that. It's already restarted. Okay. DOM 1 will have to get it done and okay, click on install. Now in case of just wait for that DOM to get it completed. Once it get completed, we'll get this working for us. Okay. In the meantime, let me check that. DOM is still restarting. I know it will take a lot of time for you to see the same things, but the lab setup required a lot of things to get it configured. So I'll try to cover everything in one video itself so that there is no need to go step by step itself. So I'll try to cover everything in one video. That's why this video is big, longer video. Okay, click on close. As we have configured 3 domain control at the same time, 2 forest, 3 domain, 2 domain, 1 subdomain controller, so you can understand like how big is the setup is. So I'll try to cover up everything in one video itself. In the meantime, once that sub is getting restarted, we'll try to do one thing. We'll try to create few user on DOM 1. Okay, simultaneously I'll try to create few users so that I can use it on my few systems. Okay, we simply have to go to this section, users and computer. We'll have to go to over here and then we have to create a user. Okay, any user we can create it. User, any name I can give it DOM 1. I'll just give this name. Okay, give it the name this. Expire. Normally will not do that, but just creating the user as I know it, I'm handling this user, so I'm just making that user by this way. 3 users will be created for the DOM 1, so Salt will create that the user also. Okay, connect, never expire, the password. Finish, and the last user for the DOM 1. Perfect. Okay, now the password. Never expire, finish. So all 3 users are built it over here. Okay, then we have to go to the domain controller over here, the member. There is no member over here itself, but I'll try to edit one user. Okay, as the administrator. Okay, so domain control is the only one we have it. Let me jump to a user as the domain controller. Oh, okay, sorry. We have to define it over here, not over there itself directly. Okay, I'm getting that. Okay, so I'm defining Sumit as a domain controller. Okay, so this part is complete for DOM1. We'll check that what the status of. Okay, so in case of DOM3, the system is already restarted and it's up. We'll try to configure the pending steps on it. Simply have to go to the user section. Okay, create users. Okay, over here we have to go, simply click on new user, paste the name, Kumar. Okay, one user is created. Now we'll go for the next user. I'm making at least 3 users for it. It doesn't require it, but still, just to get it explain everything, I'll try to make it 3 users. The password. Next, finish. Okay, the last user for the DOM3 is. Okay. Okay. Now copy the password. Click on next, finish. So over here also the user is created. Okay, now we'll have to add it in domain controller. We have to look for that domain controller. Okay, there is no nothing is in the member of it. We'll try to make it a Shri Hari as a domain controller, as a member of a domain controller. Okay, perfect. So in case of DOM3, everything is ready. For the trust relation, we'll check that. Okay, for DOM2 also everything is up. We'll simply have to put it administrator, put it the password. Okay, we have almost 70% stuffs we have already done. Okay, just be with me for a couple of more minutes. I'll try to get it cover all the pending stuffs soon. Okay, we'll have to create a user over here also. Okay, users, then we have to go to the user section, change the username, this Kumar. Okay, copy the password, paste it, next, finish. The next created for DOM2. Okay, next. So DOM2, DOM1 and DOM3 is ready. Only the trust relation between a DOM1 and the DOM3 is pending. Rest, the domain controller is completely ready now. Okay, I'll try to configure the DNS entry once again so that I can see that stuff. We have to make it like this over here, and then it will work. Okay, and so we have to make it this one also. 192, 168, 144, 175. Okay, perfect. So you can see that now the IPs get detected. Okay, we'll have to add one more IP, that is 192, 168, 44, 175. It's also a part of the domain itself. For the trust relation, we required this. Simultaneously, I'll try to configure the same thing for my setup also. Okay, so for the DNS section, let me try to put it 192, 168, 44, 175. Oh, sorry, 173. Okay, I'm not putting that directly. I'll go to control panel section. Okay, then to the network section, then to the network section, then to the adapter section, then to the adapter section. Once again, I'll go over this. Okay, and then I'll define it 192, 168, 44, and then 173. Let me try to put it that and wait for that to get it completed. Maybe DOM1 is already completing. Okay, that's great news. We click on OK, apply. Okay, that's it for the DNS part. So in case of domain trust, you simply have to go now to the domain trust section. We can see that securedev.local, we already have it. Okay, we already have that. We simply have to go to the properties. We have to go to the trust section. We can see this secure.lab.local is a child. We already can see that. Let me check that in case of DOM3 it's already, yes, it's done. Okay, we'll click on apply. Okay, close, minimize, and now everything is ready. Now we'll jump to DOM1. We'll start with DOM1 first. Click on new trust. Okay, now we have to give it that the domain name. Okay, so it's cyber.local. Click on next. Wait for that to get it resolved. Okay, perfect. So you can see that it's a external trust or it's a forest trust. So it's external trust as this is a different forest. Okay, so we'll click on next. It's a two-way. You want it? Yes, we want two-way. This domain only, this options created the trust relation in the local domain, both the domains and the specified domain. This options creates the trust relationship in both the login and the specified domain. So I'll select this second option. click on next, and now we'll have to put the credentials so that we can make it a trust relation. I'll click on next. Domain wise authentication, select authentication, domain wise authentication. Okay, click on next. Okay, perfect. So you can see that completing the new trust, you have successfully completing the new trust wizard. The trust relationship was successfully created and confirmed. Click on finish. Okay, perfect. Now we'll check the same thing in case of DOM3 also. Okay, we'll go to the domain trust section, we'll go to this properties, we'll try to go to this, and we can see this, it's already there. Okay, so now everything is configured. Now the pending part is we have to configure individual system itself inside the domain. Okay, so we simply have to go to the command line. Okay, so this sub1 is a part of DOM1. Okay, so make sure you have to configure, we have to go to the network settings first. Then we have to go to the adapter section, network section. Okay, then we have to go to the adapter section. Then we simply have to make it a static IP address, that is 192.168.192.168.44, and that gateway of our domain controller, and that's it. Okay, perfect. Now we simply have to go to our, sorry, wanted to make it that, no problem, let me check that once again, it will reflect. Go to this section, make it this as a SRV1, click on OK. Close. Okay, so we can restart now, and once it gets restarted and the system is up, we'll try to pull the same system inside our domain, and that is the final thing which I try to show you over here itself. The lab setup is completed. The same thing you have to replicate in case of SRV2, SRV3, and in case of Windows 10 also you have to do the same thing. Let me put the password. Right now this system is not in a domain. Okay, now we'll have to pull this. So over here we have to go to this section. Now we have to go to the properties, go to this section, change domain lab.local. Okay, click on OK. It's not able to identify it. Okay, let me try to change it once again. Let me make it this, go to the control panel, network section, view network status, adapter section, go to this section, and then we'll simply have to go to this section and try to make it this is 2, and then try to make it this 192.168.44 and 173. Let me try with this also. It should work now. Let me try once again. It should work. It's working. Okay, we simply have to make it this, and it should be working. If it's working, yeah, we are welcome in the domain itself. Click on OK, close, restart. Now once we are up, we can see that we are a part of the administrator itself. But one more thing I'll just try to guide you over here itself which is required. Okay, we can make it few user as an administrator also, so I'll guide you that also. Okay, we can go to the lab section directly. If we try to make it, let me try to get it login with the administrator first, so that I have the privileges. I have to give one user as a admin rights. Okay, once that user is having admin rights, then we'll go to the next step, no problem. So let me go to the computer management. I'll try to pull this user as a local administrator, so that this user having administrator right on this server. Even I can say that Sumit is already having a domain controller rights, so even Sumit can log into the server with the full rights. But as a local administrator, I wanted one user should have some rights on this. Okay, so we simply have to go to the computer management. Then we have to go to the user section. Then over here we can see that it's an administrator over here. How many is a member? I don't think so any member is over here itself. We'll try to make it another user. I'll go to the group, then I'll go to the administrator section. I can see that lab section. Okay, so I simply have to pull Neeraj K. Okay, check for the name. I can see that. So Neeraj is now the administrator for this server. We simply have to restart it and try to get it login with Neeraj, and Neeraj is the administrator for this server, local administrator. It's a local administrator with a domain rights, that's it, but Neeraj is not a domain controller, make sure. Okay, now we'll switch to it and try to put it this one and try to put the credentials. So credentials are a bit complex. I'll try to make it that. Okay. Okay, at the rate. And we are in. So Neeraj is the administrator for this server. Okay, this is one of the things which we can do it, like when we go for the lateral movement or checking whether any user having admin rights or not. So those are the things which we can get it configured automatically from our side, so that we can go ahead further. Okay, this is one of the things which I'll try to tell you. Other than this, the same thing you have to get it reflected for serve 2 and serve 3 also. Like serve 2 is defined to the DOM 2 and serve 3 is defined to the DOM 3. So you have to make it we have already created the user, so this you have to impanel the server first to the domain controller domain, and then you have to assign any rights to one of the domain user as administrator, and then you have to get it login with that. Or any, if you do not want any user to be having admin local administrator right, it's okay, but it's just for that a lateral movement or anything you have to proceed further with that, you required that, so that was the reason. Okay, the same thing you have to do it for this Windows 10 machine also. Windows 10 machine, I'm just considering this in the category of DOM 1, so we have to configure the same thing over here itself. And the last thing is the Kali we do not require anywhere, it's in our network itself, that's it, nothing else we required it for this. So I think I have covered everything which we required it, and even a couple of scripts is available on GitHub. You can Google it, by which you simply have to run it on the domain controller and you can make it n number of users. So those things are available, you simply have to run it that on a PS and you can make it that couple of users, like 40, 50, 100 users you can create it in a couple of seconds. So there is no, like I have created manually, but there is no need to make it manually. It's the scripts is already available, you simply have to run it and you can create a couple of users without any effort. Okay, so these are the stuffs I'll try to get it covered for this section. Okay, thank you so much. If you want to connect with me, please access the below mentioned link of LinkedIn, or you can visit my blog. Thank you so much for watching this video, and see you next time. And this is our last tutorial for this lab setup section. I'll come up with the blue teaming soon. Okay, I'll planning for the blue teaming, so I'll publish the blue teaming section soon. So this is a complete setup for the red teaming. If you require anything more, any more clarification you require, just let me know. You can put it a comment on it. I'll try to make it that for you. This is the thing which I feel like you required it to like having a feel of enterprise section or something like that on your host system without purchasing any subscription. Thank you so much. Bye bye.